Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Major League Minute Podcast. I'm Doc, and I'm here with GMP. Today, we're talking all things MLV, and happy World Volleyball Day. Let's go. Boom. You ready to run this thing? Let's run it.
What?
What do you mean?
I didn't even see you.
This is what we are doing.
Did you sneak this down without me?
This is what we're doing.
I did not even see you bring this down.
It's World Volleyball Day on the Major League Minute Podcast. Let's go.
Ronnie just perked up over there. Wow.
Should we keep them on or do we take them off?
We can. Oh, I guess we're taking them off.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable. But hey, thanks for joining us again on the podcast. Looking forward to this episode 34. We're going to be talking about a little bit about World Volleyball Day, more about you on this World Volleyball Day, and some about me. But we want to thank you. We kind of missed our mark.
How? When?
Our goal was, well, we wanted to record on World Volleyball Day, number one, which we're doing. Number two, we wanted to play volleyball on World Volleyball Day, which is we're going to, right?
I think so, as long as my hip can handle it. Between
your hip and my plantar fasciitis from stupid pickleball, hopefully we can make it happen. A little ibuprofen, we'll see. A little ibuprofen, a little chiropractic, a little foam roll, a little massage ball.
Okay, so that's 2 for 2. What did we miss our mark on?
We missed our mark on, we had hoped to get to, and we still got time, by the end of the day today, 200 subscribers on YouTube.
What are we at?
Currently sitting at 194, so we're a little bit short.
6 more.
Yes.
That's it.
So our analytics guy says we're a little bit short on subscribers, so our goal was to get over 200, so help us get there. All you got to do is hit the subscribe button at the Major League Minute Podcast on YouTube, as well as follow us on YouTube and Instagram, right?
Super easy.
Yep.
So free.
Our tech guy is saying only 60% of the viewers have subscribed, so please, if you haven't subscribed.
A lot of potential growth right there.
Yep, a lot of potential growth still. So hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Subscribing helps with the YouTube algorithm and allows volleyball fans around the world to find and access our podcast channel. So thanks again, and please subscribe. Like, share, comments. It's totally free. And your way of saying, I like it.
I love it.
And I want some more of it. Every subscription counts and allows us to do what we do bigger and better each and every episode. Just got off the conference call with an exciting opportunity. So are we ready to go public with that, or should we?
We should probably wait.
Okay, we'll probably wait. But anyway, help us break 200 subscribers by the end of day today.
Yes,
right?
That would be awesome.
Yep, that'd be great.
Then we'd be 3 for 3.
Yep. In short, today is World Volleyball Day. Thanks for joining me on the podcast. I did my research. It's the second annual global celebration on July 7th, which is today, where volleyball takes center stage as the world promotes and introduces volleyball in all its forms, encouraging children and family professionals alike to unite and promote the growth of the sport worldwide.
Why do you think this is only this year 2?
It's the NIVB or whatever. They're the ones responsible for it. Volleyball's been around since 1895. However, World Volleyball Day has only been coined for the last 2 seasons. So.
I wonder why they picked July 7th.
Because that was the day that in 1895 that the guy that created volleyball went public with the idea, which originally didn't start out as volleyball. It started out as something else, but was kind of morphed into what they call volleyball today. So
interesting.
It was 1895, I think, July 7th. So that's why today's World Volleyball Day. But we're playing along with it, right?
Absolutely playing along with it.
Yep. So why don't you give us a little bit about your history of volleyball?
We might even have to fight someone for the court tonight. If it's World Volleyball Day, there are probably other people out there wanting to play.
Are you sure you're going to be able to make it?
I'm going to try.
Okay. Well, let's rock through this thing. A little bit of history on you. I wanted to ask these questions in light of today's World Volleyball Day. Obviously, it's a sport that we love. It's one of the fastest growing sports around the world. And from my research, the USA is a little bit behind in terms of the growth of the sport, but they're catching up, catching up little by little. But who introduced you to volleyball back in the day?
I'm the youngest of 6. Mm-hmm. I have 3 older sisters, and they all played volleyball. So that is who introduced me.
So it was just part of the family?
Part of the family. I got dragged around everywhere, all those volleyball tournaments, different states, different cities. Always had to tag along, and so I was surrounded by it all the time, and eventually, I'm so surrounded by it, it's like, okay, yeah, I want to play. Right. So I started picking up a ball myself, and my sisters are great sisters, and they always, maybe weren't too excited to pepper with me, but they did. And so they would teach me a thing or two every now and then, and just really started to develop some skills.
Did you guys always have a volleyball court in your backyard? Because we did growing up. It was always a part of our backyard.
Yeah.
Was a volleyball net and a court.
In the first home that I can remember, our backyard was not big enough.
Okay.
But the second home that I lived in most of my life, we pretty much have had those tire poles, those tire
the cement poles straight up with the net.
Yeah, we've had those since 1997.
And they're still there today because we played over the weekend.
Yeah,
and they still work.
There. They're great.
Yep.
They're indestructible.
You probably want to know who introduced me to volleyball, don't you?
Was it your family? Because you just said you had volleyball in
It
your
was my
net.
family, but do you know where the Salvation Army is in South Omaha?
I do, actually.
That's where we started.
What do you
Family
mean?
league. My mom was
They
the
have
setter.
volleyball courts there?
My dad, yeah, indoors. Yep, the Salvation Army. My mom was a setter. My dad was the outside hitter. One of my brothers was another outside hitter. My sister's was libero. It was just a family thing. We played at the
Wait.
Salvation Army on Monday
Your
nights.
parents played?
Yeah,
I
everybody
didn't know
did.
that.
Yeah.
Your mom was a setter? I'm so jealous.
Yep. And then when I got to be old enough, I stepped into the role, and here we are today.
Wow.
Yeah. It's kind of part of the South Omaha tradition. It's what
So
we
you
did.
guys played in a league there?
We did.
And you were a team?
Yes.
Like one family was?
Yes. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did Pat play?
Pat did not. Larry did.
Did Larry?
And everybody else did.
Okay.
Yep. So we were a family team, just like we played softball, we played volleyball. But that was my first introduction to volleyball. And from that point forward, we've built a volleyball court in pretty much every house we've had. 2 sand courts, and now we don't have one, but we got.
But
one
it's in your neighborhood
it's
at
in the
least.
park down the street. Yep. At what point in your volleyball career did you realize you wanted to be a professional volleyball player?
I feel like this is a tough question for me because I don't have an exciting answer.
So what are you saying? You're still not sure you want to be a player?
No, I just I never once thought about professional volleyball in my time of college until maybe 1 week until my season was over at senior year.
Okay.
I don't know. It never crossed my mind, even though I had an older sister who had played overseas. She played in Germany, Croatia, Indonesia, and she also played in Puerto Rico, which she has a crazy story about that. But it just never crossed my mind.
That it could be something that you do for a living and get compensated for?
I think at the time I was so focused on just being where my feet were that I never really looked ahead. And whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, don't know.
Right.
But I was just so focused on where I was that I think I was so young, maybe immature in a sense of my mind was not thinking about my future. It was just more so here's my day.
Right.
This is what I have to accomplish today. This is what I'm setting my goals to today, that I never really looked forward.
That's hard for me to believe because at what age were you when Nebraska recruited you? What grade were you in, or what age?
I committed my junior year in high school, which nowadays is
late,
crazy
right?
late.
Yeah.
But that's kind of a hard way to judge it as well because I grew up playing club volleyball with Lauren Cook.
Okay.
We played club volleyball for years since we were 14 years old.
John Cook's daughter.
John Cook's daughter.
Okay.
John Cook even helped coach us every now and then,
Oh, wow.
which I think was legal.
Yeah. Kind of.
And so that's I just kind of knew I was always going to go to Nebraska.
Okay.
And again, that was part of that mindset of I never really looked beyond because I never even gave thought really to any other college outside of my home state.
I mean, how could you not have? I've seen the box. We still have the box of 250 offers, Division I offers that you had because you were the National Gatorade Player of the Year, right?
I was,
Which means,
yes.
what does that mean? It's not like the Nebraska Gatorade Player. It's the national.
The national. So only one kid gets picked out of the whole country. And
you're still, doesn't even cross your mind that you could possibly play volleyball for the rest of your life and get paid for it.
No. And that's why I'm like, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I just was so present minded.
Okay.
I'm not giving you
That
foo-foo
sounds
answers.
cliche-ish a bit, but
that
So-
is me. That was me to a T.
okay.
I was the youngest of 6. I grew up
You were just playing for the love of the game.
doing things that I was expected or what someone told me.
Right.
So not that I blame my family. I actually credit my family for all of my success and all of it. But in a way, maybe that bred me to only think like right now, because this is what I'm supposed to do.
Okay.
This is what I was told to do.
Okay. So how big of a shocker was it when you got the first call or the first offer to play professionally? Do you remember that day? Do you remember where the call came from? What country, what team, what club?
Yeah, it was from an agent who I don't even know if I don't know if he works anymore nowadays, but he asked me about Puerto Rico. So
She started in Puerto Rico. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yep, I started in Puerto Rico. So I ended, senior year, second week of December, and I left like January 1st to play professionally in Puerto Rico. And I was really, really, really upset because I landed. They gave me like my first wad of cash because it's like a signing bonus, right?
Okay, right when you sign.
Hours later, I discover that Nebraska now has a beach program.
Oh.
And I would have given everything to stay and play beach because ultimately that was my dream.
Beach volleyball?
Beach volleyball was my dream. I
never knew that.
Love beach volleyball. Sand is like what I just love it. But
so you didn't have the opportunity to play at Nebraska?
No, because I accepted that wad of cash, so that therefore I was immediately ineligible.
Exempt, okay.
Which is crazy because that's not the case anymore nowadays.
Right.
So it's like, am I still eligible? Can I go back and play sand? I don't know, probably not. But
do you think your career would have taken a different direction if you would have stuck around and played sand for the first time in college?
I do think. I think that any change of path, it's like the butterfly effect, or I think
so
of
you're
like
a little bit salty about it.
I'm not salty because I'm very blessed and content and happy, grateful with where my life panned out. Wouldn't change much, but I think of like even like the Marvel movie of when Doctor Strange or I don't know, she was like the bald one, the lady before Doctor Strange.
Okay.
But she like shows the timeline and how she plucks something and then it creates a different path. And that, so when you ask me, do you think your career would have taken a different route?
Possibly.
I certainly think it wouldn't have been the exact same. Okay. I'll say that. But I'm a homebody. I love family. I have, my mom and dad have, my mom has 10 brothers and sisters.
Dang.
My dad has 8. So it's like family's all I know. So pursuing a beach career would have been really difficult for me because I wouldn't wanted to have moved outside of Nebraska.
But you end up moving to Puerto Rico and then to Istanbul and then to Azerbaijan and
yeah, so it's kind of funny because at least with sand I probably would have stayed home in the United States. Yeah. But yeah, so that's kind of just my experience. And then so my first week of being a pro volleyball indoor athlete, I was kind of sad. I was like, man, I wish I could have stayed. I wish I could go back. However, I got through it and I had an absolute great rookie season. It was so fun, made so many memories, had a lot of success, and it really helped my career, jumpstart.
I think I remember at one time I asked you what you made in your first contract.
It wasn't my first contract.
You said I got my dream job, and this is so. I asked you, what did you make?
Oh, how much did you get paid? And I was like, whoa, buddy, I just met you.
So how about back in Puerto Rico, your first contract? What did that look like?
That was back in 2000.
Were you like, dang?
Well, yeah, back then I was like,
because
I'm making a lot of cash.
that was when you couldn't take a slice of pizza. You couldn't take a sandwich.
A quarter.
Yeah.
Not a quarter.
In college, and then all of a sudden you sign this contract, and here's some cash, signing bonus.
I don't know what I made as a rookie. I want to say it was like 15 grand.
Okay.
Which is obviously like dirt nowadays.
And that's been how many years ago? 15?
That was in 2013.
Okay.
January to May 2013.
Almost 15 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
So you finished your professional career. You started in Puerto Rico and then finished it in Puerto Rico, basically.
Yeah, actually. That's right.
What do you appreciate most about volleyball? What have you come to appreciate most?
I just having these conversations about, there's a big movement with women's sports. And I think in particular, volleyball has an argument to be, one of the hottest.
For sure.
And I try, when I'm comparing it to other sports, I love volleyball, how the score always moves forward. Always. There's never a time where it stays 6-6
or
for
0
15
or
minutes.
0-0 for 90 minutes in these soccer matches, these
there you
World
go.
Cup soccer matches.
Even
Thanks.
Even in basketball, you could go 8 minutes without someone shooting a basket, or in softball, it could be 0-0, bottom of the ninth, and then something finally happens. Okay. So I love that volleyball is an ever moving,
the pace
scoring,
of progression.
Game. So just to answer that question and keep it short, that's what I admire about it the most.
Do you want to ask me, or do you not care?
I would love to know what Doc thinks.
I could
about
get
volleyball.
up in my day. Believe it or not, I could get up. I could dunk.
I appreciate this guy used to be a scrawny, Gumby guy.
I could ball out though. What I appreciate the most is just jumping sky high and just absolutely looking down on the court and bouncing one. I'm sorry, I love that. That's what I appreciate the most. That the net's only 8 feet. It's not 10 feet.
I thought you were a setter.
Yeah, but back in the day, I was there. I was playing doubles. I only played sand. We didn't even play indoors outside of, like rec leagues and things like that. But I always played doubles in the sand.
Okay, so you're a born and bred killer.
Killer.
You like to smash it.
For sure. That's what I appreciate the most.
Okay.
You're welcome.
That you can't get that in any other sport?
It's not the same because I can't dunk. I couldn't dunk. I couldn't throw a touchdown to myself. I couldn't. What else? I had no home runs, but I could definitely and spike the ball. Who has had the most impact in your development and contributed to your success over the years? Can you name one or two people? And you can't say your parents.
Well, a general answer would be my sisters. I mean, my sister Amanda, I remember we would go to the YMCA and we would play pepper. If I ever hit the ball to her side to where she couldn't play it, she would get livid, make me go shag it. And then before we peppered again, she would make me hit 5 lines, like 5 straight shots on the line before we would continue. So I credit her and my other sisters as well. Danny was a national champion. Sarah had a great high school career.
Yeah, and your most influential, impactful person was your sister, who, what I heard this weekend, quit playing volleyball in high school, right?
She did.
She walked off the court or whatever.
Yeah.
Do we need to tell the story, or are we good?
We're probably good.
Okay.
But don't want to ruffle any feathers.
Of the other sisters and of everybody else, it's interesting that she had the most impact.
That is interesting. I never thought of that, how I just listed her first, but she has the shortest career in volleyball, I guess. But so that would be my first general answer. Otherwise, I would say Gwen Egbert. She's a local coach here.
Egbert? Mm-hmm. I like the last name.
She was a club coach of mine, and I can't praise her enough. I just think that she's an excellent coach. She just has the mindset for the athletes, how to encourage them, which is kind of unique. She's kind of like you.
Oh no.
Where she talks the kids, which I love. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you don't take it personal. That's just how
you can't do that to everybody. Every kid, you can't treat them the same way.
Yeah. You can't, which, whatever, that's a whole nother conversation. But regardless, she just knew how to push me. She knew how to make me better. And that's what I truly believe about Gwen Egbert, is at the end of the day, her ultimate goal was to make me better. Mm-hmm. It wasn't for her success. It wasn't to elevate her winning streak. It literally was, how can I make you the best that you can be for you?
Wow.
So I love Gwen Egbert. She still is training today. She trains one of my nieces, on the reg.
What club?
She trains in Lincoln.
Oh, okay.
So really love her. Have to give credit to my high school coach, JJ Tochek.
Oh, yeah. Shout out, JJ.
I love JJ. And I think he would laugh and agree with this. I don't think he was maybe the most technical, but he was the best player coach maybe that I've ever had. He just knew how to have relationships with the players and like encourage them the most, build them up the most, how they need it. He knew us individually.
Right.
But at the same time, he was an excellent person to create that team culture and team atmosphere.
Okay.
One was not greater than any other, and vice versa. So it, like, I just think he. Yeah.
What did he do? I mean, you were the National Gatorade Player of the Year playing for JJ. I'm assuming you guys won multiple state championships.
2.
What did he do to not, to it's like you're a thoroughbred racehorse, but you can't just run and run. You got to kind of hold back, pick your spots. It's called meekness. It's strength under control. How did he manage you as the National Gatorade? That's the number one volleyball player in the country.
Mm-hmm. I think he was just very team oriented. That's what I like.
He treated you just like every other.
I was not on a pedestal.
Right.
Right. Like he made that very clear, and I respected him for it, and I admire him for it greatly. He did an awesome job of like creating this culture of, all for one for all. He really focused on a team psychologist, actually. So like,
I mean, this is a long time ago. This is 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
We would like, circle down on the court. All of our heads were like the inner circle. He would play music. He would talk us through things.
Almost ahead of his time, huh?
I would say, yeah, because I feel like that was uncommon back then.
At the high school level.
20 years ago.
Right.
And the drills that he created were very, you're only as strong as your weakest link. So he made a way he wanted to create drills and systems and ways where there was no weakest link.
Right.
We could throw anybody on the court at any time and count on them, trust them to do what they need to do. Again, kind of ahead of your time.
Right.
Because that was 20 years ago. And so I really admire him, and I have to give him a shout out.
Well, that's interesting because you've had the likes of John Cook as your coach.
Well, you limited me to 2 people.
But I mean, you start with these formative years with Amanda, your sister, and then JJ in this high school time where you're in these developmental, where you're gaining your momentum and, quantum leaping in your progression and your development. And the next question is, what level of volleyball was the most enjoyable for you? And I think I know the answer based on the previous 2 answers you gave me.
I'm probably going to get in trouble for this, but I would say professional is probably my least favorite.
I was going to say that too.
Yeah.
Why is it?
Well, that's a whole nother story, but there's a couple different reasons. And maybe they all happened at different times, but when you get paid for something and you're not doing well, it's really hard. It's a lot of pressure.
Right. I mean, take that into now in the NCAA.
I do think about that.
These kids are under so much pressure with this expectations.
I think about that because that 5-year rule just got passed.
Yeah.
And I think, man, if I was in those shoes and I chose to stay and play another year and make 6 figures, how would I handle that pressure of like, I came back, I took someone else's place most likely.
Right.
I affected an incoming freshman's place.
Yeah.
And I'm making 6 figures, but I'm playing poo-poo. Or, I mean, geez, if you just think one match and that could tank you.
Right.
How do you handle that amount of pressure? And I don't know how I would do because I'm not in those shoes. You'll never know until you're face to face with it. But I do think about that. So back to the original question, professional probably was my least favorite because now I'm being paid and I have all of this pressure and expectation. Now, along those lines, I accidentally, over time, let my identity become volleyball,
right?
Which is a big mistake.
You talking about in pro?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Not in high school, not in college.
Well, you're isolated in Azerbaijan, no family, no friends, different language. You're just stewing. And if you're not playing well, you're stewing in a pressure cooker.
For sure. And fans are heartless. They really can be
Even if they don't speak your language?
Very destructive. Yeah, because,
The international bird or what?
they can,
It's
yes.
an international sign.
I mean, they have no problem commenting or sending you messages. And of course, I'm going to translate those. I'm like, what does this person want? And then it's like, the most destructive comment I could possibly read.
Right.
And that affects your mind. That affects your spirit. So I accidentally allowed that to happen over time and without catching it. So when my identity is volleyball and volleyball is being attacked, well, that breaks everything down about me.
Right.
And so I had to get out of that space. That's actually why I retired for 4 years. I was
Is
like,
that how you
I
got
don't
out
want...
of that?
Yes.
Because there are plenty of players in every sport that are in the exact same situation. They might not be pro. They might be in junior high. They might be in high school. They might be in college. What worked for you?
What worked for me, I don't want to say can work for everybody, because my answer was to walk away. If I was in junior high feeling these same things, I wouldn't want to walk away, and I wouldn't want to tell someone to walk away unless it was like at a level of severity where it's like, for your health, you need to do this. But for me, I had, I guess, the ability to walk away because I had 8 years of professional volleyball under my belt. I was, okay, I did my time. I need to step away. And in those 4 years, I didn't touch a volleyball once. I did. Anytime someone was like, "You want to play in my 6 sand league?" No. Do you want to come play pepper with me? No. Hey, can we have you as a sub for this Sunday night? No. Did not touch a volleyball. Now, I had to undergo a lot of other things to get out of it. Just walking away wasn't entirely the answer, but I guess to really go back and answer your question though, what would you say was my most enjoyable time? Because you said that. I think I know the answer.
Well, based on the previous 2 answers, it's not going to be college, it's not going to be pro. It's probably going to be high school or club. Those somewhere in there.
I would say high school was definitely the funnest, like most genuine, pure joy, fun. Lots of memories, still have them to this day. I mean, clear, distinct memories, but college was fun at times.
Right.
It was not always fun, but it was at times. But I need to kind of correct myself because I think the most fun I had was this last year.
Are you getting choked up a little bit?
No, I'm not. I'll save the tears for later. But
no, you can. So that's all good.
I got to play volleyball. Didn't care how much I was getting paid. I had a husband and a daughter by my side, and that's all that mattered.
Where were you playing?
Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Hate losing.
Still to this day.
Still very competitive. But the moment my eyes turn and I see my husband and my daughter, it's like, that's my world. Like, okay, I lost, that stinks, but I don't lose sleep over it anymore. So it kind of, that was professional, but it was similar to high school. It was similar to at times at college where I didn't it was more about my team. It was more about, and specifically this team of my husband and my daughter in this last year.
Yeah.
It was more about my team. It was more about my support. It was more about enjoying the sport for pure joy, pure entertainment, not for money, not for fame, not for Instagram followers, fill in the blank.
Right. With that in mind, maybe you just answer this. Your favorite place to play in the world? Because you've been all over, played in a lot of different places.
I can tell you Indonesia was my least favorite right off the bat.
I don't even know where that is on the map.
Bugs, hot, no AC, terrible. Oh, just terrible. I think volleyball-wise, overall, it would be a very tough battle between Germany and Puerto Rico, but I think I would say Germany.
Okay. How about college?
My favorite place to play?
Yeah.
I mean, the Coliseum.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So I was the last class to play in the Coliseum.
So you were a senior?
I was a senior in the last year. So then the next year when I was gone, that's the first year they played in the Devaney.
What was that like? Because that place was tight.
It was
cramped, and it was packed
tight
to the rafters. I'm assuming it was super loud. The fans are on top of the court.
All of everything you just said
And
is
that's
so
why
true.
you loved it?
It was, I think the maximum capacity was only like 3,000.
No way.
No, I'm being serious. It was only, let's look it up. I
I'd
think it
have
was
to
only
fact check
3,000 to
that one.
4,000 people.
Felt like 15.
But it was, like you said, it was kind of like upward.
Built
so
like a
everybody
Coliseum.
was like
Yep.
literally on top of each other's backs.
Bleacher seats, right?
You could feel like the ground rumble at times. There really was just the intimacy of it, I feel like, because everybody was right there with you. I loved it. The backdrops, like how we had the scoreboards right on the service line. I just helped really for a player to be able to, you didn't have that depth perception struggle that a lot of people do in these big arenas. So definitely loved the Coliseum. I actually had a pretty good time at Illinois. Because of their fan base.
It's like a gym. It's like a gymnasium.
It
right?
was like, there was nothing fancy about the gym, and it was super old, like very, very old. The
gym.
locker room had like pipes that would like
Boiler system.
Yes.
Shaking.
It was shaking, sweating, blowing off steam. But the crowd was really fun. I remember they were singing a song to me.
At Illinois, singing a love song or a hate song?
It was a love song, but hold on, I'm trying to think of what it was.
Go ahead.
I'm in this moment, I'm drawing a blank.
You're fine.
Will come back to me later, but
A love song? Was this like during warm-ups or during the match?
during the match.
Were you serving? Why were they picking on you, or why were they
That was
singling
my
you
junior
out?
year, and I was a first team All-American that year, so
They were
I
trying to
think
get in your head?
I think I was just probably playing well, yeah, and they were like,
Sweet Gina
no,
Nicole.
it wasn't
Boom,
that.
boom, boom.
Now everybody knows my middle name.
That's all right.
No. But yes, they were trying to get in my mind.
And did it work? You probably still cooked them.
We won.
Yeah, probably a sweep.
I don't know if it was sweet, but
So that was your second favorite college place to play? Not
Penn State was really good too.
Another gymnasium type of feel.
Their fan base was fun. I hated Texas, not just because the overall Nebraska-Texas rivalry. I just truly hated their gym. I hated K-State. hated that gym. It was inside a indoor track.
Oh, yeah.
It was just miserable.
You got the song yet? What song were they singing to you?
I'm in this moment. I'm like, I can't think of it because I'm like, the harder I try,
Like the
more
whole gym was
yeah, it's like
singing
the
it
whole,
at the same time
whole
during the
student
match?
section.
Okay. I might have to pull that one up. But would that be on YouTube?
Hey,
Baby,
Gina.
Who? Ha. I want to know. Will you be my girl? Who?
I'm pretty sure that was it.
Hey,
Hey,
Gina.
Gina.
Who? Ha. I
Yeah.
want to know if you'll be my girl.
Hitter.
Top 5 favorite volleyball memories as we transition out of the World Volleyball Day celebration conversation.
I would say we won club nationals. This is the first thing I thought of.
Club nationals. Okay.
Nationals.
How old?
17s.
Okay.
And it was
Did you have a bomb squad?
yeah.
Anybody,
we won.
Anybody on your team we would know? that you play-
Lauren Cook.
Hey, was she a setter?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were down. It was the third set because I believe back then it was just 2 out of 3, and it was 14-9 the other team.
You were down 9-14.
And we had a middle blocker serving. So we were serving at 14-9. Our middle blocker was serving and therefore playing defense. We won the next 4, 5, 6, 7 points in a row.
To win the match?
To win the match and win the national championship.
Wow.
For club.
Wow.
So
that's your top one.
That really
one.
was like such a fun moment. And it was in Miami, so we all like ran to the beach afterwards.
Oh, heck yeah.
It was
Nesty plunge.
It was awesome. Over the 4th of July, there was fireworks show.
Wow.
Yeah. Winning the Big Ten championship my junior year in college, our first year in the Big Ten, definitely a memorable moment / season. That was really fun. In Germany, we won the double-double, so we won the cup and the league.
Nice.
So that was a very big celebration and historic moment.
That's awesome. Some fun times.
Yeah.
How about me? My favorite volleyball memories?
Please tell.
Can I bring it up?
I don't know what you're going to say.
When we were at the all-inclusive resort in Mexico like 5 years ago or 2 years ago, when me and Cooper cooked you guys, and then you and Mason didn't talk to each other the rest of the trip.
Do you love making things up?
What happened? That's one of my top volleyball memories. It was a mild upset.
There's a reason why I wore this shirt that says salty.
It was a mild upset.
Because I'm very salty about that.
Which takes me into the sand debate.
Are we
We're done with that.
Okay,
Yeah, we're done. That's enough with that. But happy World Volleyball Day to everybody. Thanks for playing with that.
You're welcome.
Can we get into the sand debate as we move on?
Yes, Doc.
Because
I have to control my
anger. Don't control it right now, because this is a legit thing, and I want to know from the sand volleyball players, the beach players, like, you guys are calling me Bush League because you're nuking the ball at me. I can barely breathe. Playing doubles in the sand. It's 95 degrees out with a 30-mile-an-hour wind, and you nuke a ball at me. I one hand up it over the net, and somehow I'm the Bush League player.
I think this is a very bad example to use, because that's 1 out of maybe 20. And when you did it, listen, I've played volleyball my whole life.
One hand dig down the line.
You intentionally, with the angle, shoved it back over the net.
What do you want me to do? I'm just trying to get a hand on it.
That's not true. That's the part where there's
My partner's over here. It's outside down the line, and it's coming at me 60 miles an hour.
That's not true.
Okay.
If you're playing volleyball as long as I have, which you have, so you should know.
Okay.
When you play it like this, directly back over the net, that's intentional. Okay. If you want to dig it, you're going to dig it up for your teammate to get, not shove it over the net. Okay. Bad example to use, though. That's not necessarily why, that particular time is not necessarily why we call you Bush League.
Okay. What is that?
You are intentionally shoving it over on one because you're tired.
There's a line right here. Keep that.
I'm on my side.
Fine. I'm legal.
You crossed it by touching my fingers.
I'm legal.
You are tired.
Yes.
So you send it over on one.
Yes, to shorten the point. Is there anything wrong with that? Please, somebody tell me.
It's like when you're bunting in the 6th inning when the pitcher is on a no-hitter. It's not illegal.
No.
But it's classless.
You sure about that?
Yes.
We need a runner on base. We need a point, and I need a breath. And I need a break in between points.
It is Bush League.
I completely disagree. It's legal, but Bush?
Yes, because you do it so often. Because you're tired.
Yes. And I want to shorten the point. What's wrong with that? So
it just doesn't make it. It makes it more of a Bush League. That's all.
So I go over on 1, and I'm Bush. You guys come over on 2, and everything's fine.
This guy is. You're
What's
crazy.
The difference between me going over on 1 and you guys coming over on 2?
When Mason poked it over on 2, it's because the ball was tight to the net and he had no other option.
Me going on 1 was reaching out down the line, you hitting a piss missile down the line at 70 miles an hour, and me trying to get an arm on it and shank it back over the net.
When your body is completely going forward towards the net, you're intentionally just trying to shove it back over.
What's the difference
you're
between
not trying to
me
dig
going
it.
over on 1 and him going over on 2?
His is an emergency situation.
So was mine. I was fighting for my life.
You're such a liar.
I was fighting for my life.
Such a liar. But let's stop talking, you and I, and we'll hear what people have to say about that.
Okay, then what are they?
Is it legal? Yes. It's not illegal to do that. But is it dirty and Bush League to do it every other point?
Every other? That's an exaggeration.
I don't think so.
I do it when I can barely get to it, when I can't control it.
At least 10 times, at least 10 points out of a
But
21.
It works. So should I stop doing it?
That's the thing. That's okay. That's what we're saying. It works and it's legal, but it is wrong. to do it as often as you do.
Okay, what's the difference between being Bush League and being an intelligent strategy? From a seasoned veteran who can't breathe and is fighting for his life in the sand.
It's intelligent for you because it makes sense, because you're dying.
Well, then why are you guys bagging on me for doing it?
Because it just doesn't make the game fun.
I'm taking away from the game?
You are. When you shove it over, and then every week you're like, well, Cooper and I smoked you guys. Well, yeah, you sent it over 10 times on one.
Well, Mason said it over 5 times.
That's from wind.
On 2.
That's from wind, and that's legal.
Well, then back it off after the first 4.
And Mason gave you guys the option at the beginning of the game to redo it, and you chose not to.
Anyway.
We got to keep going on, but...
It's not Bush League. It's an intelligent strategy by an exhausted veteran.
Moving on.
Is serving the female every time Bush when we're playing co-ed doubles? Is that Bush League too?
No.
Okay.
I don't think.
It's not classless.
I mean, unless that female is like 4'8", then that's
fighting for her life like me, literally.
Yeah, then I mean,
she's coming over on one. Good luck.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get out of that. Thanks for entertaining the conversation.
You're
and
welcome.
The questions. Yeah, I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I mean, I'm not going to stop doing it though.
I know
no,
you're
it doesn't matter what I want to hear the comments though, because I think it's
nothing we say
fine.
Is going to change his intellectual strategy, but it's just not as fun.
It's like an emergency response. It's like a reflex.
It's not an Okay, you know what? I can agree with that. For you, it's possibly an emergency because you can't breathe.
Right. Exactly.
So Buddy needs to get to the gym more often so that you can breathe better on
Moving
the sand
on.
Court.
Tough week.
Yes,
for the MLV.
this is
Tough
more.
week for
This
the
is
MLV.
the stuff that we want to talk about.
Yes.
So hang with us, guys. It's about MLV and LOVB.
Right. The transfers that happened. We've been touting, I think, MLV or LOVB players to MLVs up to like 10 or something like that. But
I think
huge
now
week.
it's up to 11. I think because we got one more.
Yep. Huge week for the LOVB though.
Yeah. Which I knew this wave was coming.
Right. Well, no surprise, but they kind of dropped it all they kind of dropped it with the bang though. It wasn't like a trickle like what the MLV did. It was like
I'd rather it just be all at once.
I'm not mad about it either. We knew
when
it was
it's
coming.
slow and trickling, then it's their top of mind always. Like it. Oh, here we go again. Here we go again. This is like bang, we got it done and over with. Now in 3 weeks they're gonna forget about it.
Yeah, it was just a matter of when they were gonna drop it, and they dropped it this week. It's officially official. We just don't know exactly where all these transfers are going. We just know they went from the MLV to the LOVB. Mm-hmm. What do you make of all the love poaching? Would you call it poaching, or is this just business tactics?
I think I can call it both.
Okay.
I think I could definitely say it's business tactics. Of course, like if I'm in Love's shoes, I want the most talent that I can get, right?
The most talent and the most marketable players that are currently in the other team. It was strategically targeting and poaching some of the most marketable players of the MLB.
Right. So
Period.
I can say in the same breath that it's business strategy and it's poaching.
Yeah.
Specifically the timing of when they did it, when they come in and talk to these players.
Yes.
It's poaching.
Which means what? What do you mean when they do it and come in? What are you saying? What are you saying through that?
I think that they were very strategic with the timing that they approached these players. That's as much as I can say it in a general sense.
Okay, I guess we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, so do I blame them for being intellectual? And what did you call it? Intellectual strategy? Like that's
Is it Bush League or is it intelligent strategy?
There you go. It's
by
smart.
A private equity.
Of course it's smart.
Right.
I know this is going to sound wrong. I think this is a good thing because...
You're supporting my cause?
No,
okay.
No. Because I think this is good. One season ago, what was everybody saying in comparison to MLV and LOVB?
In terms of the quality of player or the players or the...
There you go. I think we just start with that alone.
Okay.
The general comments was that Love had better talent.
Yes.
Okay. We are going to see that we have now Love athletes coming. Listen, it's not just a wave one way.
Okay.
We're getting a wave a second way.
Right. They just dropped they just had a tidal wave in 1 week.
And
we had a ripple effect.
We had ripple effects. Thank you. That's a great imagery there.
Right.
So when now the level is starting to even out, where we have MLV and Love are now equally talented.
Do you feel that? Do you believe that in your heart of hearts that Love and MLV are at the same level?
I think this next year, specifically, it's going to be the same level. We're going to see a lot of Love athletes return to overseas because they're starting to gear up for Olympics now.
Okay.
Coaches push them to be overseas so that they get international experience.
So the top tier Love players from last year are going to go overseas.
Not
and play?
all of them. I can't say all of them, but there will be a chunk.
Okay.
Then we have
in preparation for the Olympics.
Yes.
Okay.
Then there's a chunk coming to MLV.
Yes. Right now sitting at 11.
We have, of course, then we see MLV players are now going to Love.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to even out.
Okay.
So when the talent evens out, which league is going to
we
be
know
on
that.
top?
We know.
It's going to be MLV.
Okay.
Because I think overall we have better aspects of
better marketing,
the product.
Better product.
You know what I mean?
Better community engagement. We can go on and on and on.
People like going to MLV games. They don't necessarily enjoy fully going to Love games. Love focuses on TV. They don't really. Now, what we're seeing is Love is trying to mimic us by now getting involved in the community and having these local owners, but it's not.
Is that what that's all about? They're making an attempt to do that. At least it looks like that on social media.
It looks like that. So I think this is a good thing. I think this is going to only benefit the MLV because if this talent pool is starting to even out, I'm confident and I believe in my heart that the MLV is going to overcome because they have everything else figured out outside of the talent pool.
Okay. So do you also feel like that the $1.2 million salary cap needs to go up, needs to increase in order to compete with, because it sounds like LOVB doesn't have a salary cap. They just have an open-ended blank check.
Which I think is a problem.
Correct. Eventually it will be.
That's going to drain those owners.
Right.
I mean, there's not a lot of them. It's going to drain them.
Right.
So,
do you think the MLV needs to budge?
For sure, I think that the MLV can, every year the salary cap should increase, right? That only shows that
perceived value.
That only shows that there's more and more investments and therefore belief in this league.
Right.
But that takes time. Right. That's like with any pro franchise.
Right.
It's going to take time. We're only going into year 4.
I remember, it reminds me of, and this is a little bit off track, but it reminds me of the PGA, the golf, PGA. It's been around forever. And then the LIV golf, Live Golf comes in, private equity, buys up all these players, brings them in, and starts another league. And now you see all those players coming back to the original PGA. And the LIV just kind of, because it ran out of money.
That is great, Doc. That's a great example.
So back to the MLV players, top tier talent, some of the highest marketable players in the MLV going to the LOVB. We're talking about Mimi. We're talking about Brooke. We're talking about Nati, Shampoo, Sarah Parsons, Oglivie. This is all this week, I think they've announced.
Yeah.
Oglivie, Sage, Raina Terry, Abby Walker, Raven Colvin, Isabel Martin, Kylie Murr, Sydney Hilly, and probably more to come.
I'm not scared.
Not scared? Not scared whatsoever.
I'm not scared because I think what's going to happen with Love is there's going to be those players who do go overseas. And then we have these MLV players going to Love. I think it's just really going to even out the both the leagues.
All right. I can rock with that.
Yeah.
Of these transfers, who do you think is going to make the biggest impact?
I also think a lot of them will come back.
Yeah. They'll see the ins and outs of how the LOVB is ran and how they treat their players and their contracts. And
out of this list, only Sage is the only one who could tell you in comparison of the two leagues because she did play for Love. Then she played for MLV. Now she's going back to Love. But
That's against.
She's also playing for the national team right now, and she's the starting setter of Team USA. So, of course, she's going to play for Love because that's probably what Eric's telling her.
Okay.
Or, only because Eric is a coach in Love, which, what do we think about that?
What do you mean? What do we think about it?
Do you think the head USA women's national team coach should be a coach in one of the pro leagues?
Is that how has it been in the past? The VNL coaches.
Well,
typically they're from overseas, right, or something like that. They're
what are
the American coaches, VNL coaches?
What is
Aren't
your
they from
question?
a different country? Like who has been some of the other coaches in the past? VNL
for Team USA?
Yeah.
Only a USA. It's been Karch Karai.
Oh, it has been? Okay.
Yeah. But you can't ask how has that been in the past as far as pro leagues because there's only been 3 years.
Okay.
So this is new territory.
So I don't know. How do you feel about it?
I don't
Conflict
think
of interest?
Yeah, I don't think I like it.
Okay.
Even if he was coaching for MLV.
Yeah.
I think conflict of interest.
Yeah, perhaps.
Or some would say that it's an advantage. I don't know. But I just kind of wanted to pick your brain on that.
And maybe he's not coming
thought.
back to the head coaching position at the LOVB next year. Anyway.
He is.
Okay. You already know that. All right. Who will be making of those transfers? Who do you think is going to make the biggest contribution to their LOVB franchise or the LOVB team that they're going to?
Don't know if this is surprising or not, but of all of those people, I actually thought Elena Oglivie was going to be the most successful.
Really? Mm-hmm. Why?
I just think that she's really good.
She's solid.
I think that she's really good, and I think that I just think that she's going to succeed more than anyone else.
Okay.
With her position, her talent, I think she's going to be the most to reap any benefits of
interesting choice.
A new league. I don't think I am most curious to see how Mimi does.
Okay. How she stacks up against the outsides in the LOVB?
Outsides, middles. But then again, if I'm sitting here thinking that the talent pool is going to even out, then she's probably still going to be successful.
Yeah.
I don't think that she would not be successful, but
I think Nati's going to be successful wherever she goes. She's a winner.
We'll see.
Undersized setter, but I mean, she's
yeah.
got that dog in her and she wins everywhere she goes.
She does have that dog in her.
And at AU, whoever she plays with, she does well.
That's true.
That's who I'm expecting to make an immediate impact, especially at like a new franchise. I don't know. We'll see where these players are going because none of them have been announced, right? They're just in the love. Where they fall, nobody knows. They don't
get to pick either. They get told where to play.
Okay.
So we'll see, but I'm pretty certain that they're probably going to put Natalia Valentin Anderson here at Nebraska.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't.
Would you rather be a backup player in an LOVB making 2 times as much as if you were a starter in the MLV?
I would rather be a starter in the MLV
and making
half as much.
And why?
Well, first of all, I'd be a starter.
Okay.
So I'd be getting experience. Right. I would be able to add to my resume.
Game day.
I would be able to invest in my future, right? Because I'd be playing, so I'd therefore get better opportunity, increase my value for future seasons.
Your market value, building your resume,
But here's the thing. I don't know what I would truly do because I have a very unique opportunity where, like, I'm in Omaha. There are 2 pro teams in my home city. Mm-hmm. If the MLV shut me down and cut me, for example, or didn't, I would be very tempted to consider playing in Love because it's in my home city. However, I just don't know if I could align myself with the private equity model.
Right.
So that would be a very hard temptation.
But you would be open to it, perhaps.
Perhaps.
Are
it would come down to how
talking out of both sides of your neck or your mouth.
It's very tricky because if I was living in a different city, say Grand Rapids, I would not ever consider playing for Love.
Okay.
But you know what I mean? But it would come down to how bad do I really want to play volleyball?
Right.
Because when I think about it, that potentially, I'm not saying it is, but I think of Natalia Valentin Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
We just mentioned her playing for Love now. They're probably going to put her at Nebraska because
Right.
she wants to be home. She wants to be around family.
Sure, that was factored into the contract.
Don't know. I haven't
Only
spoken to
makes
her,
sense,
but I'm
though.
just saying if I have the unique opportunity to be in those same exact shoes,
Yeah.
what would I do?
Right.
At the end of the day, I don't think I would sign a contract with Love.
Okay.
But I've never been presented one, so
Okay. It's hypothetical in nature. Huh?
it's hypothetical. But the private equity model, which is what we've kind of debriefed a few episodes ago, it would pain me. I also want to bring something up because maybe I took it a little too personal, but
It happens.
I saw on social media where someone accused the MLV of having predatory contracts.
Predatory?
And I was just like, you got to be kidding me. That's the best joke I've ever heard because
You would know. You've had a contract with the MLV, and it was not predatory.
yeah. I mean, I've had my ins and outs with like the league. Like I was a franchise player. Like there's separate things that I had to do and that I agreed to. I'm friends with Jen Spiker. Like,
Right.
you know, like I have, it's not like I just am some person from a distance. Like you
Right.
said, I would know.
Right. You've been behind the curtain, behind the veil.
There is absolutely no truth to that statement at all. MLV does things very professionally, very black and white. There's no these nasty hidden agendas or hidden, not even hidden, but threats, I would say, or deceptions. So I just wanted to make that clear that the MLV is not at all predatory, and I think that person has it completely backwards, and I think that's the only ammo that they had because they know that that's what their league, Love, is attacked for, and those comments are out there, so they just tried to flip the script of
Right.
like, no, that's MLV. Well, that was a really poor attempt at trying to bring the MLV down, but
And you just want to set the record straight.
because that, you know, it's everyone gets to make up their own opinion, right? It's like butts. Everybody has one and they don't always smell good.
Nice. All right.
But I just wanted to say, whether you're listening and you think I'm biased or not, the MLV is not predatory at all.
Whatsoever.
They're very professional. They do things right. They do things fair and just.
And we'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that.
Well, thanks for letting us know. Let's get into, lastly, let's talk about the MLV transactions because there was a handful of them.
Yeah. So we saw Minnesota. They posted their first 13.
Looks pretty stacked to me.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah.
So the new additions for them are Alicia Andrew, middle blocker from Baylor in Wisconsin. We saw her a little bit with Atlanta last season.
Okay.
Hattie Bray,
Okay.
another middle blocker from Marquette, who we saw a little bit with Grand Rapids last season.
Okay.
And I was actually really impressed with Hattie
Yeah.
Bray. I'm looking forward to seeing her career really grow this next season.
Sure.
Emery Herman, setter from Colorado State, and she just played her rookie year in Spain, where I think she won a championship. Then we have Kayla Hanline, who's a middle blocker. I'm really excited to watch her. Middle blocker, played at Northern Iowa.
Yep.
She has had a lot of years professional playing in Germany. She's played in the VNL for Team USA in 2024.
Oh, wow.
So that was cool. I saw that. She played in AU.
Okay.
She also played for Love Atlanta.
Okay.
So there's a Love.
LOVB to
Transfer.
the MLV transfer, which puts us at
I think we're at 11.
11 or 12. LOVB
That's your
to,
job. You're supposed to
I
keep
erased
track
it.
of
That's
that.
on me.
And then Kayla also played in Turkey
Okay.
last season. So really excited to see her and what she can contribute to Team Minnesota this year.
Yeah, bottom line, Minnesota
next
looks
year.
like they're stacking up a good roster.
Yeah.
Pretty much got it set for the most part. Looking forward to
Yeah.
them in their inaugural season compete. I think they're going to be competitive.
I'm looking forward for their name reveal.
What are they waiting on? Oh, they're the Forge. Is that them?
But wasn't that like a Reddit,
That's a Reddit rumor.
theory?
Yeah.
So looking forward to that official announcement.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were right on Reddit.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's talk about Columbus, because you played with Megan Courtney Lush over the years.
I actually have never played with her.
Oh, you haven't?
We just became friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let them know what she's doing now.
She has been announced as one of their assistant coaches.
So that means she's done playing, because she played last year for Columbus.
She's played every year for Columbus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now she's probably officially retired and has moved on into coaching. Good for her.
Yeah. I wonder, maybe she'll start expanding her family
That's
again.
what I was wondering, because she has the child, right?
She has one, yeah.
Okay.
And so we'll see. But
Happy
really
for her.
excited
She's a baller.
for her. Yeah.
I'm going to miss her, though. She's competitive. And a trash
number one,
talker.
yeah, it's like she's the number one
That's
chirper.
her?
Yeah,
She's the
that's her. So now we'll think of it next level as a coach. She's going to approach that referee stand every single point. That'll be fun to watch.
Yeah.
But then for players, they got a big pickup. Hannah Klemetz. She is
A lefty opposite.
from Belarus.
Yeah. Belarus national team.
Yes. So
High
she's
level,
had
though.
quite the resume, playing in Turkey, Italy,
Big time
Belarus
leagues,
national
right?
team. Yeah, she's also a mom of a son.
Where'd you figure that out from?
Her Instagram.
Oh, nice. And possibly a model on the side?
Yeah, she's got to be some type of model agency on, like,
What?
her photos are like model photos.
Oh, okay. Showstopper?
Yeah. So
Bombshell? What are we saying?
She's no, I'm being serious. Like, they're like model photos.
Yeah, she's a bombshell. We can just call
There
it what
you
it
go.
is.
All right, there
Good
you
for
go.
her. Welcome to the Columbus Fury.
Yeah, so excited to see her play as well. And I think that was it for transaction. Got to get this hat back
We got to
on.
finish how we started.
Do, do, do,
Today
do,
is
do,
World
do.
Volleyball Day. Thanks for joining us on the Major League Minute podcast. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe today. We're looking to get to 200 subscribers by the end of World Volleyball Day, which is today, and we'll see you next time on the Major League Minute podcast.